Hello everybody, John Control back here again with another video, and today I bring you another movie review. Yes, I know it's been a pretty decently long while since my last movie reviews, and to tell you the truth, I had zero idea that I was going to actually do more movie reviews because, it's already practically the end of December, we're at the beginning of January almost, and I'm going to go on a trip, so, I don't know, for me it felt like my Interstellar and John Wick reviews were pretty much going to be the last movie reviews I did of the year, but apparently not. I was dragged into to see a different kind of movie last night, and so I decided, fuck it, just make a movie review for it, try to make some kind of use out of my wasted hours watching the movie. But anyways, all that being said, I just witnessed Night at the Museum: Secret of the Tomb, and this is going to be my movie review for it. Of course, if you've yet to see the movie, this may contain spoilers to that movie, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't really matter because it's Night at the Museum. It's Ben Stiller once again at a museum at night where things come alive. But anyways, yes, this is the third and possibly final installment to the Night at the Museum series. Of course, the last one was the Battle of the Smithsonian, which I had zero interest in and I did not see. I did see the first one, but I didn't see the second one. So if there was anything that happened in the second one that I'm missing from this third installment, then please tell me in the comment section below. But anyways, let's move off of that and get into the overall plot that happens in this movie. First off, it opens up with a flashback of the previous caretaker of the Night Museum, which is Dick Van Dyke, of course, which he does have a reprising role in this movie, which is pretty funny. But anyways, Dick Van Dyke, back when he was a little kid, was on this expedition in Egypt with his father. He gets dropped into this little tomb and discovers the tablet, which is, of course, for those of you who don't know, the tablet is the cause of what brings all the museum items to life and statues. So anyways, we get back into real time, where we get back into Ben Stiller, like, obviously taking care of the museum, having fun with all the various characters, like Dexter the rabbit, and Roosevelt, which is played by Robin Williams, which was actually pretty cool. That was one of the great things of watching this movie, was to see Robin Williams once again, rest in peace, of course, on the big screen, because he's a fucking awesome legend, so, Nevertheless, Robin Williams is back. Owen Wilson is back. Ben Kingsley plays a small part in this little movie. Just various characters from the last, Steve Coogan, just Ricky Gervais, just various characters from the previous movies coming back, doing stuff, which is pretty awesome. Ricky Gervais, I thought, was hysterical in this movie. I wish he did more movies, but more movies where he's the leading character, or at least a good, really extensive supporting character, because he only has like a couple scenes, and like the second he's gone, it's like all the really good funny parts are pretty much done, and that's just how I personally feel. But overall, Ben Stiller's obviously doing his thing in the fucking museum, and then they discover that apparently the tablet is going gray, so to speak, and apparently the cause of it is unknown. They have to try and discover why the tablet is going haywire, which is causing the objects and the people and the statues and all the items in the museum to go haywire and whatnot. So they go back to England to try to discover the cause, to meet up with Ben Kingsley's character and try to discover like how to fix the damn tablet, and then they just go into a whole bunch of hijinks in the next British museum, and just blah blah blah, a whole bunch of other crazy nonsense that happens. Overall, it was pretty interesting movie. I mean, like, to tell you the truth, guys, I had zero interest to see this movie. I didn't see the last one, and I didn't really think the first one needed a sequel. I mean, like, Night at the Museum was a decent movie for what it was, but I don't know if it really needed a sequel, let alone a fucking third sequel. So, but nevertheless, they did do it. But for a movie that I had zero interest in and had no desires to see or watch, it was a pretty decent comedy. I mean, like, it's not amazing. It's definitely not the best comedy of 2014 by far. Of course, if you want to know what I personally think was the best comedy of 2014, check out my top 5 movies of 2014. But anyways, yeah, Night at the Museum. It was a decent comedy. It was a decent little movie. I think every character had their little moment in spotlight with this movie, because it's kind of hard to do that when you have various actors playing various comedic roles in the movie, to have a good moment where they're portrayed awesomely, but I think everybody did a pretty decent job at portraying an awesome scene. Specifically, Robin Williams, I think, was just awesome. I'm just saying, Robin Williams, we're not going to get another one of those, but it was good to see him once again. And, yeah, there's also a really interesting cameo that I'm pretty sure all of you have seen by now. But of course, if you've not seen the movie, this is a big spoiler, but there is a big cameo from a character / actor that I really love that was in this movie. There's a specific sequence where the character of Sir Lancelot apparently steals the tablet because thinking that he's a real person once again, decides to go off, take the tablet to Camelot where he will meet his queen or whatever the fuck his storyline is, and he meets up with a fictionalized Camelot play theater and comes across Hugh Jackman of all people. Yes, Hugh Jackman's in this movie. He's in a small role playing himself, ironically. And it was just hysterical to see Hugh Jackman. I had no idea Hugh Jackman was in this movie. And for those of you who are wondering, it's like, why the hell was he in it? It's like, well, Hugh Jackman, for those of you who don't know, he is big in the theater and he's into those plays and musicals and all that stuff, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, it kind of made sense for him to be in that kind of little scenario. But it was pretty freaking hysterical. I'm just saying, Hugh Jackman, or as he is titled in the movie, Huge Ackman, for some reason. I don't know. Just go with it. But anyways, Hugh Jackman, it was hysterical to see him in this movie. And I loved his little Wolverine scenario where there's a scene where Sir Lancelot goes crazy in the theater and decides to attack Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman just tells him, it's like, hey buddy, that's a bad move because you don't know who you're messing with. And he does the whole Wolverine claws, he does the whole fucking Wolverine thing. It was hysterical. You have to see it to get how hysterical it is. But overall, Hugh Jackman being in this movie, doing his little Wolverine thing, which they actually reference in the movie, where Alice Eve, who plays herself in the movie, basically says is like, yeah, he's doing his Wolverine thing. That's essentially... But yeah, it was hysterical. Hugh Jackman was just funny. I'm just saying, for every Wolverine fan, just see this movie for the sole purpose of seeing that one scene. That's all I'm going to say. But overall, yeah, the movie kind of wraps up from there. There's a subplot of Ben Stiller's character and his son having a big crossroads where his son's going off to college and probably doesn't want to go to college and wants to do various other things with his life. Ben Stiller's character doesn't really agree with that. And then they come to terms with that whole nonsense where it's like, okay, you know what? It's your life. You need to do what you think is right. Blah, blah, blah. All that, father-son type of, mushy shit in casual movies. And then it pretty much ends with the tablet not longer being in New York. Yes, the tablet that has brought these characters to life is for now and will always be staying in the British Museum. And that's pretty much it. The movie pretty much ends with Ben Stiller standing outside the museum, watching and just, I guess, smiling and thinking of all the great memories he had in the previous movies with this fucking museum. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The movie itself, as stated, it was okay. It's not, once again, it's not the greatest comedy that came out of this year. Then again, we did get a good number of comedies that came out this year. But overall, I think it was decent for a movie that I had zero interest in, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people had zero interest in. It's pretty decent. And of course, if you want to see some awesome sequences with Robin Williams and a whole bunch of real comedy moments with Ben Stiller and whoever the fuck he's interacting with, whether it be Ricky Gervais or Steve Coogan and Owen Wilson, and specifically the best sequence that I personally loved, which was the whole Hugh Jackman thing. I'm just saying, just see it for those sole purposes, but overall, the movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, just because it was decent, it was a decent little comedy movie. I mean, once again, it's not the best of the year, but it was pretty decent. I think Ben Stiller does great in anything he does, even if it's, a really cliche, whatever comedy. He does a pretty good job with it. Robin Williams, always a pleasure to see him. Yeah, Owen Wilson does the same thing as always. Steve Coogan was funny. Ben Kingsley, he had a smaller role, but seeing him was pretty cool. And Ricky Gervais was hysterical. I wish he had more scenes. And Hugh Jackman. I wish he was my friend. I just want to have Hugh Jackman as my friend, and I would make him wear the Wolverine cowl. I'm just saying, it's like, you need to wear that or we're not friends anymore. Of course, that would be at the end of it, of course, but in my fantasy, that's what I what I dream. But anyways, overall, the movie, I give it a 5 out of 10. What do you guys think? In the comment section below, what did you think about the movie? If you did see it, if you haven't seen it, check out the movie for the sole purpose of Hugh Jackman's scene. That's what I personally say. But overall, I think the movie was a decent comedy, but it didn't really need to be made. But that's just my personal opinion on the whole Night at the Museum franchise, if I could call it that. But overall, yeah, it was pretty decent. I think there was a good number of laughs. It was entertaining, to say the least, and I give it a 5 out of 10. But let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel as always, and of course, I hope you all freaking enjoyed. And yeah, I think this may be the last movie review that I do of this year, so possibly, yeah, this could be the very last movie. I mean, I originally wanted to see top 5 before the end of this year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I guess we'll have to see. I'm just saying, folks, if I put out a top 5 movie review, then that will be the last review that I do this year. But overall, I think this possibly will be my last movie review of 2014. So I hope everyone has enjoyed, and of course, go to my playlist, check out my review playlist, and check out all the movie reviews I did this year. I did a whole bunch of reviews for awesome movies that came out this year, like Big Hero 6, Interstellar, Maleficent, Godzilla, X-Men Days of Future Past, Winter Soldier. If you want to know my thoughts on all those great movies, go check out my playlist where you get all those awesome movie reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed my movie reviews of 2014, and I definitely will be coming back with a whole bunch of new reviews of 2015 with movies like Star Wars, which is going to be amazing, I hope. And of course, Age of Ultron, which is equally going to be badass. So if you want to know my thoughts on those, stay tuned for my reviews of 2015. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been my review of Night in the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Yeah. And definitely check out my previous reviews. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, comment, let me know what you personally think. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been John 12.